Hey folks, Longhorn Lester here, and welcome to the Grand Canyon here at Longhorn Lester's. I just put my face in that accidentally when I laid down right there. I don't know what's going to become of me, but I have a feeling that that's really, really bad. Why would a plant in nature be red? So I'm going to go up and try to find me some kind of soap and wash my face good. Yeah, if in case y'all never see the same Lester again, this is the Lester that you once knew before I become the Elephant Man. Have any of you guys ever laid in bed at night and wondered what's the difference between walnut and almond as far as colors go? Well, I've never thought about that until this morning when I go to buy stain, and what I was looking for was walnut. They didn't have any. They had almond. And I'm like, walnut, almond, they're probably about the same. They're both nuts, right? And here you can see that almond and walnut are in fact not the same. Hey folks, Lester here, and I am leaving my second favorite store. This would be McCoy's. I'm here in Cleveland, which is just a few miles outside of Plum Grove, but I'm headed over to Longhorn Lester's. I'm doing everything with one hand, so y'all excuse this. I'm going to be doing some staining today, and I'm putting up Carl's fence. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm going to take you guys along with me. And I haven't made a lot of videos from Longhorn Lester's in a while because I've just been glued to those baby ostriches. So today I have to say, you know what, sorry babies, I know that you need to, I'm trying to make that imprint, but I have to get out and I have to get some jobs done over at Longhorn Lester's. I've been putting things off, so that's where I'm headed now. You guys join me, come along, and let me show you what's been going on over there. And we're gonna work today. We're gonna work. All right, so here's what I'm gonna start working on. Gotta paint or stain. This reminds me of how men and women see colors differently, which kind of represents how men and women see life as differently. If you ask a man about certain colors, in his mind, he goes to the primary colors: red, blue, green, yellow, black, white, brown. You know, you get it. However, you know this is true. You ask a woman about colors, and she goes to, I'm going to put an illustration on here. This is funny. This is funny. This is funny. I want to talk to y'all a little bit about what's happening right here, and especially down by the pond. Now, we did have the fella come out and put the hydro seed. And so, I mean, you can see where it's come up, but I want you to notice where we've only had one rain, guys. We've had one rain, and it wasn't a heavy rain. That's what scares me. It wasn't a heavy rain, but we've had one rain, and it caused that much erosion off of that hill. And if you think that's bad, you've seen nothing yet. For you folks who live in parts of the country where you have a lot of erosion, look how good the grass came up through here, and then look what's happened. I don't know what we're going to have to do, but that has channeled all the way down through there. And so it's one thing, I can come out with my tractor and spread that back out and smooth it easy enough. But what I cannot do is what's happened over here. All of that dirt has silted right back into our pond. And this is bad because this over here was at one point 15 foot deep. And you can see where all of that dirt has washed right back in here to where that right there is just straight up dirt. And then it's made the pond where this should be the deep end. This should be the deep end, yet it's not. The deep end is actually the shallow end. It almost dries completely up right over through here. And then over there where the dam's at is going to end up being the deep side of the pond. So I have taken some pictures and I sent those to the pond guy. Now I want you to notice all of the erosion along the edge over here. I don't know what we can do to fix that or to prevent that. But this is going to be a problem. And we've already exceeded our budget. We had so much money set aside for the pond. And because of the rock and stuff that he suggested that we do, we've already exceeded that budget. Darn it. And now having him come back out, I'm just afraid he's going to say that he's going to need to bring the big tractor back out here. I'm afraid he's going to say that. And that big tractor is the one that's expensive. That's the one, the track hoe. And that's the one that you need a permit to drive or to haul. But that's what's going to have to happen. That big tractor is going to have to come back out. And there's two problems with that. Number one, the cost to have that big tractor come back out and dig this back out. Then number two, we already have grass growing. Look how pretty that grass is. That tractor is going to tear up that grass. And we need that grass to be like this for when our cows get here. We need this grass to this is what we need, y'all. This is what we need. This will stop the erosion and it will give our cows the nutrition that they need. So we're in quite a fix here. We're in a bad situation as far as this goes. So I told Jamie, depending on what Paul, the pond guy, says, we may have to just go, I would say maybe a year until next summer with a weird pond. I've brought my four-wheeler down to the river and there's a lot more erosion over here. Now, obviously, this over here is just kind of, this is where all of the water coming off that 300-foot hill has to come to a certain point to run into the river, and this is where that point happened. So I don't think there's much you can do here. You can see how high the water was from that little flood. I say flood, it was several inches of water that we gotten over the course of that day and a half. The water was actually, you can see where it's a little bit wet, how high the water had come up. But it wasn't a flood that washed this hill off. It was the inch and a half of rain that has to come down this hill. And boy, it must have come down with some force. So I don't know, folks. We have a lot to learn. We really do. We have a whole lot to learn about erosion and how we're going to control that. I remember after we bought the property and I would begin to kind of walk around, and I was noticing things that Mr. Dub had done where he'd put bags of concrete still inside the paper. He would just set an entire bag of concrete in a certain spot, and then over time it would get moist and it would harden in that same shape. And he had those all over the place. And the first thing that I'd done was picked all that mess up. And I realized now that Mr. Dub had those bags of concrete sitting there for a reason. Oh my gosh. He had those bags of concrete sitting there for a reason. Can you see that? That's how people get a toe taken off when they wear flip-flops on four-wheelers. I'd run over that at some point and it came right up through there and I never realized it. But I'm wearing shoes today, thank goodness. That could have been bad. But no, Mr. Dub had those bags of concrete sitting all over the place, and I'm guessing now, looking back, those would have been some kind of deterrent. It would have stopped the water from creating a channel and would have dispersed it to where it would, if you can stop the channels of water, I think you can stop the erosion, because all you need is that water to make a channel, and there it's going to just, well, look at the Grand Canyon. Look at the Grand Canyon. I have a funny idea. I wonder if I can take a picture at such an angle where it looks like the Grand Canyon. Look, y'all. Look. This is funny. Jamie always does things with camera angles. She loves doing things with camera angles. Yeah, I'm gonna call this I'm a Survivor Visits the Grand Canyon. I just put my face in that accidentally when I laid down right there. I don't know what's gonna become of me, but I have a feeling that that's really, really bad. Why would a plant in nature be red? Seriously, why would a plant out in nature be red? Oh my God, there's a lot of them. Here's more. I just put my face right in that when I laid down there, all for a video. Oh, I did not do it on purpose. When I stood up, I felt something touching my ear, and I looked up and it was that. And it's all over the side of my face. I don't know what's going to become of me over here. I don't know. I don't want to touch it because that stuff can spread. So I'm going to go up and try to find me some kind of soap and wash my face good. Yeah, if in case y'all never see the same Lester again, this is the Lester that you once knew before I become the Elephant Man. This is the Lester that you once knew before I became the Elephant Man, okay? I'm just saying. I'm real blessed today. We got some fellows have come out and they are installing internet. Now, this is not the fiber stuff we have at the other house. This is old copper line, but at least it's internet. That means that we can start doing things over here on our phones without having to look and try to find the best signal. I want to show y'all something that's going to bother me. I just can't stop thinking about it, and I hate that. I love the hills. I absolutely love the hills. And maybe I sound like an ingrate when I say, man, the erosion around here, oh my God, the erosion. I love the hills, but I'm going to show you where this is going to be an example of what I'm going to have a really hard time with. I just went up and took a drink, and I came back out, and this caught my eye immediately. Now, I'm going to have a gate here, right? But do y'all see what I see? Do you not notice how because of the incline of the land, this side is higher than this side, it drops down. And that means that the gate that's going to hang is going to be hanging straight, and it's going to stop right about here-ish. And it's going to be that way all the way down. And I don't know if there's much you can do about it. This is how the inside of the pasture is going to look. So it may not be pretty. It's not a pretty look. But I'll tell you what it is. It's a very strong fence. So Carl, when he runs up to push on it, is going to be pushing onto the wire, which will push onto the corral board, which will push into the post. It makes this side very, very strong. It'll be a very strong fence. And that will go the entirety of this stretch of pasture here about 300 yards. Now over on this side, it'll be a whole lot nicer. We're going to have 4 boards. So we'll have one covering there, one covering the bottom, then the other 2 equal distance. It's going to be a beautiful fence that's going to roll with the terrain, but only where you have the opening for the gates, you're going to have that issue, which just drives me bananas, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'll show you, this is going to be the center gate, which is going to probably be the most, you'll see this in every video. You're going to see this in every video. And so if you're saying what I think you're saying, Lester, just lower that down to match that side over there and make it come straight across. You can't do that because then, number one, your panel is already, you're going to have to cut the entire panel down. And you don't want to lower this down any lower than this because it has to be 5 foot to make, to contain Carl. When he starts pushing around and doing what he does, it has to be a certain height. So the issue here comes when you start putting in the gates. Wherever you put a gate, you're going to have that problem because it's not level ground. Now I'll show you one more spot. Well, it's the third gate for the third ostrich. It's going to be cross-fenced. It's going to be cross-fenced to be 3 sections. But looky here. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do about it, my friends. Unless you come out here and you bring in so much dirt, you level the whole thing off. So, coming off of the driveway, looky here. you have to come up at the angle. You have to come up at the angle. You got to stay true to your panels over there. But over here at this gate, looky. Y'all see that? I know. Now, if you're trying to say, Lester, what you could do is simply raise that top board a little bit and raise the bottom up. Carl's not going to go under it. No, Carl will not go under it, but we're going to also have goats in here, and I do not want predators coming in to get in there to the goat. So you don't want a coyote or anything coming up trying to dig under. So I want it to be right along the ground. It has to be along the ground. And so no, we have to stay true to the size of the panels, and that's just going to have to be how we do it based on the terrain, hilly terrain. And no matter what, even though I can sit here and sound like I'm complaining, I'm not. I'm very grateful, and this is a beautiful, beautiful piece of property, and I love the way this is going to look. I'm just not going to like the gates.